Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Relay Station. And to answer Fastcart's question, no, I do not have a bot, so we will need to do questions manually this week. Welcome, everyone, to a two-player version of Relay Station. We had some various, real-life issues come into play this week. And Fastcart was so nice as to join me, so I'm not sitting here alone talking to you.
and we also joined by Bob and Rob. So great to see them on the stream with us.
Yes, which one's Bob? I always forget.
Either one. I don't think they know either.
Can it be Bob the Banu?
Bob the Banner? Yeah, that's good.
All right. Bob the Banu and Rob the Gian for some reason.
Or Frank.
Fastcart
is more like a Frank, I guess.
I'm hearing Fastcart is really quiet. Can you talk a bit, Fastcart?
Testing 1 2 3. Do I sound louder now?
There, I just cranked.
1 2 3.
I just cranked you, so hopefully that helps.
Ooh, I feel nice and cranked now.
Perfect. Thank you, Citizen Tipitarius. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. We just had Alien Week in Star Citizen, so we have a Gian toddler and a Banu guy who looks way too serious joining us on the stream. I hope you all enjoyed this week's festivities. There was a lot of interesting stuff that was out this week, and. Did you Fastcart? Did you watch the round table, the Alien round table? I think it was last week.
Yeah, that was before last. Yeah. The Friday before last. Yeah.
That was really interesting. I thought the whole discussion.
Yeah, I like that one.
I thought the whole discussion about because I know this is awful because I've been doing this forever, but I actually had forgotten about the minor alien species, like the ones that don't have ships.
No. Yeah.
No, the non-advanced ones, the developing
under the first
species. Yeah, exactly. Made me excited all over again that there's going to be all these other alien species that we're going to be able to at least see, if not interact with.
True.
And also. Sherry mentioned that at least one of them is cephalopod in nature, so that's going to be interesting to watch. For those who don't know, cephalopods are like octopus.
Okay. Yeah, that's are those shellfish or that's something else? No, that's something else. But yes, octopus. Okay.
Yeah. So that's going to be pretty cool to check out. So because we are in two-player mode, I've gathered some stuff beyond our normal stuff. I gathered some other things to look at this week, but we are going to need lots of questions from you guys because it's just me and Fastcart. That's all you get. So ask away. Ask all your questions you can't ask when Eris is around.
Yeah, I won't threaten to sing or anything.
Well, thank you. All right, so let's jump into show and tell here. And we're going to start right off the bat with the Vanduul.
Wait, Nicole, we're doing Star Citizen stuff. I thought we were going to talk about Star Wars Squadrons.
No.
I got to rethink my whole show now. Go ahead.
Wrong IP. So basically, the story around this is that they basically settled on the Vanduul aesthetic that they liked was this one from the 2018 Squadron 42 cinematic, which was the interior of the Kingship. So they're now redesigning the look and feel for all of the materials for the alien ships based around that look and feel. It's much more Geiger-esque Very
Yeah,
very
definitely.
organic. Very organic feeling to these materials and the shapes that they use later. Like you'll see with the redesign of the ships, they have a lot more things that kind of look like alien like body parts. If you know what I mean. So you can see there's like a rib cage on the underside
Oh, yes.
of the blade, and then if you there's some shots also where you get the top down view, and it looks like the carapace of like a beetle all along the back of the ship.
Yeah, because I thought that part was interesting. Like the Vandals prefer to have the armor on top, so because they're prey-like, so to think about coming down from the top rather than straight ahead.
That's yeah, that was a really cool thought. It shows a lot of like forethought in the design. And but yeah, I really actually. What do you think about the change in the look?
I mean, I only have one alien ship, and that's the Merchantman.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the look of them, but I was okay with the look of them before. I mean, they do look a lot meaner now, or like more distinct. But as far as the effort to change it and everything, I was okay with how it looked before.
That's fair.
Hmm.
One of the things I noticed is they have a lot more like fine detail. Uh, you can especially around the cockpit. There's all of those like pipes and like almost like arteries and veins coming off the cockpit back into the ship.
And not just the cockpit, like the hull had more intricate detail too. Like you see a whole lot more. I want to call them wrinkles, but they're basically like grooves and lines and stuff like that. You can see there's more detail.
Absolutely.
It's like they went from a ship that didn't have bump map to bump map.
So this is they switched again. But that's a great shot right there, where you can see all of the really. Also, I like the little spines coming off. I thought those were neat details.
They kind of feel like, remember Firefly? They had reavers.
Mm-hmm.
It had that kind of feel to them sometimes.
A little bit, except a little more organized and not as just ripped apart.
Yeah, definitely. Right.
Yeah. But the organic feel is definitely there. But this is sorry, not the glaive. The blade is the one that has it has like almost like a beetle's carapace on the top of the ship. It's really cool.
Yeah, out of all of these, I like the glaive the most. It's not something I'm gonna get. I may get it. No, not even something I would get in the game. I like the look of it, but it's not something that I would like to have in my hangar or anything. That's just me, though.
Yeah, no, I'm not much of an alien ship person, except I do have some interest in the Merchantman. I don't own it, but it's I think it's a really cool idea and a cool ship. But
I mean, my favorite alien ships are from the Mist, the Mist line from Xenon. Those are half alien.
And yeah, you can definitely Citizen Tipitarius. Yeah, you can definitely see the Geiger inspirations. A lot of that type of language in there. So let's move on to our next clip here. Bum, 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 bum. Or at least attempt to move on to our next clip. It's a work in progress.
I didn't break it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
All right.
I hope I didn't.
So this was the sprint report where they were working on AI behavior, and this was all around reloads, where
Right.
NPCs would actually have finite ammo, finite clips, and they would have to find ammo if they ran out.
And I don't think I played a game where that was a thing before. NPCs always had infinite energy, infinite ammo, infinite everything.
The vast majority of games, yeah, I've run into a couple games where they would run out of ammo and then switch to another weapon, like a melee weapon. You see that in RPGs sometimes when like the archers run out of arrows. But it's not
Even
common.
then, yeah, I've never heard of an archer running out of arrows in any RPG I've played. Unless with me.
It happens, but it's not a very common feature. Most of the time, they have infinite ammo. This is I think it's going to feel a lot better in gameplay, especially once it's all polished and everything.
Well, I mean, the great thing about this is strategic-wise is that if you're in cover, you can just wait for the NPCs to run out of bullets. Then when you know that they're reloading, you just come out and shoot them.
Yeah, that's where the audio cues are really important too, right? When you can hear that they run out and are reloading, you can pop your head out and try and get some shots away or try and move positions. Also,
but they could program them so the NPCs can psych you out. To say, "I'm not out of bullet yet." Fool you.
That would be very mean. Very mean, in fact. Yeah, so ongoing work on that. Now we had the return of the 100 series. Didn't hear much about this. Didn't hear much about this right from when it was announced, up until this week. But then it got added last week on the 12th onto the roadmap for 3.11, and so here we are. This is another starter ship. It's basically a competitor to the Mustang and the Aurora, and the more starter ships, the better, in my opinion. I went back.
I like the idea of a luxury line of starter ships, but I mean that'll appeal to some people. But I think most people will just probably get the Mustang. But we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. I did go back and do some reading about the 100 when it was announced. So it was basically positioned as it has a longer range than the other starter ships, and kind of a middle of the road maneuverability between the Mustang and the Aurora. Obviously, the Aurora being the giant flying bus. But I also dug up this old clip that they had that was pretty great. Let's just throw this up here. This was at this is on the introduction page, and it's pretty nice.
I remember that. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, pretty nice. I can't wait to see the ship in game. Looks pretty, it doesn't look like they're that close to finishing. The gray box is still pretty unfinished, but they'll get there. Obviously, the ship pipeline has been moving a lot more smoothly this past year or two than it did previously, so I think they'll have no problem getting it in.
So I'm wondering whether or not when they release it, whether it'll have the Origin 300 series you can buy, customize, and put like a coffee maker and stuff like inside of it.
You'd hope so. I mean, considering they introduced that whole thing, that whole idea with the 300, it'd be great if they could carry that through with the 100. Would make sense.
Or even like I forget what the size of the 300 is compared to but the size of a 100 is compared to a 300. It made I see the bed right there, so I'm assuming you can get a coffee maker in the clock and stuff like that.
You'd imagine. If you're gonna sleep, you're gonna need coffee, right?
And other stuff, and a food processor and stuff like that.
So let's take a quick look here. The 300 series is about 27 meters long. The 100 series, when the ship matrix finally lets me search. Come on. There we go. Where is the 100i?
Just type it in the search box.
I did, but it didn't work.
Uh,
15 meters. So it's only about half the length of a just over half the length of a 300 series.
wow, no, I didn't think it was that smaller. That much smaller.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller, but it still does have a bed. The cargo variant has the 135C. Has 6 SCU of cargo carrying capacity. Basically, they just added a giant butt onto it. Made it slower. And then, of course, there is a light fighter version of it as well, the 125A, which includes 2 extra missiles and some extra speed.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I have. What do I have? I have the beta, the Mustang beta, and I have. I think well, no, I turned my my Aurora into a Dragonfly, so I don't have I don't have an Aurora at the moment, but I do have a Mustang beta. But
I mean, everyone needs a Bangstang, right?
Exactly. But I mean, depending on how this goes, I may trade Bangstang in for this, but I don't see myself doing that.
I love the Bangstang. I don't know if I could get rid of it.
Right.
I don't. But
I mean, the thing is, I'm still much more of a fan of the old Bangstang than the new Bangstang.
that is very fair. That is very fair. Yes.
What can you do?
Harass CIG until they put the old Bangstang back in. All right. Next up, we have this beautiful video, which shows that the Gladius is getting weapon racks.
Now, this part excited me when I saw this in Inside Star Citizen. I'm like, weapon rack. What are the ships are we gonna get for that now?
That's a very good question.
Like, I would love to have like a Super Hornet or a Hornet with a weapon rack and stuff like that.
Definitely, and you probably will too, because they specifically, if you read the, I read the Squadron 42 update, the monthly report for Squadron 42, and they actually specifically mentioned that that change was made for Squadron.
Yeah.
Obviously, it carried across.
Oh,
but
he said that in Inside Star Citizen too.
Oh, did he? Okay, I didn't.
Squadron.
I wasn't sure
Yeah.
where I got it from. But yeah, it that makes me think that the Hornet will probably get exterior weapon racks as well, considering it's also a main ship in Squadron.
And definitely the F8 Lightning.
Yes.
I cannot imagine. That'll have like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, all the weapon racks.
Exactly.
These are really
All the
nice
weapon-
animations too. I mean, they have a lot of great ship animations, but they're very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, like I am really looking forward to this. Just being able to that's one of the things you have to worry about too. Like I'm probably going to be carrying a sniper rifle everywhere I go because I'm bad at shooting, so I prefer to be in the back somewhere picking off people if I can. So this will really come in handy for that.
Definitely. All right, next up is the industrial mining complex on board the space stations. So this was obviously unfinished. They had like the orbs sitting on the floor there, and there's definitely some textures missing. But you can absolutely get a good look and feel for what they're going for here.
I just have one thing to say about this. That's a really big deck.
Are you getting jealous about the size of your deck?
Hey, well, I'm not too jealous because mine is hardwood, so it's fine.
Oh man. One of the things I liked here was the level design all over the place in here. Cause this facility is obviously like extremely hot and stifling inside. All over the place, they have hydration stations and first aid kits placed like everywhere.
What every deck, what every good deck needs.
That's right. That's right. Um,
Nicole is regretting having me on now.
it'd be boring without you, Fast Card. Oh.
He thought he was safe because Shiver and Jake on, but no, he had me, and that could be worse if I really wanted to be.
One thing I'm a little concerned
but-
about the enormous amount of open flame on the space station.
Right? I mean, when I first saw this, to be completely serious, when I first saw this, I thought about Alien 3 and how they use the furnace to spoilers. How they use the furnace in the climax of that movie. So I'm thinking if something like this is going to be like an intruding mining station. That could be like a final conflict or like a final boss fight or something like that.
Yeah, you kick somebody into the flames.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. For sure.
Or like Terminator 2. You have to thumb up and everything as they go down.
Oh man. So our next one up is, unsurprisingly, fire. So this is an expansion on the previous fire video we saw, which was all about propagation. So still, you get to see propagation here of an actual across an actual item. And they did mention that they've now added in heat and fuel properties to the fire so that they can track those. And obviously then they can make visual changes based on those properties.
And I think Oscar use and everything like that too. No, that's part of fuel.
Yeah, I have a heavy suspicion that this has something to do with Squadron. So I'm already terrified about my whole ship catching on fire and being on the inside of it.
No, not just your ship. It could happen to the Bengal or the Javelin or whatever that we're gonna be on too.
I have a bad feeling that I'm going to be inside it when it catches on fire.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, some people are wondering whether or not we're gonna need firefighters on the ship. I'm like, you won't need specific firefighters. You just have NPCs who can have firefighter duties or skills and stuff like that. In my opinion, but
It'd be like
this will be the reason why you'll need them.
it'd be like those RTSs where you just need to ring the big bell and have all the peasants come running to put out the fires.
Or you could do it like the whole Star Trek TNG thing and have Beverly and Geordi bent out the airlock.
Yeah, I mean,
Right, the air.
or the Firefly thing, or it's been done so many times in sci-fi. So Pyro 2's looking pretty good. Their water's
Yeah, I
looking a
like
lot
this
better.
one.
Mm-hmm.
And they mentioned that they did Power 1 in a few episodes back. I don't remember them showing Power 1. They were like 2 weeks ago or something like that, or did I?
They
am I just
did in
blanking on
fact
that?
show it. They
Don't
did
look
show
for
it,
anything,
but,
but yeah, but the Power 2 that looked amazing. I like the look of it.
especially
And
from
I also
orbit.
I also like how they said they're gonna have to change the in-game lore to fit what their planet looks like now, because they said it was a coreless world. I think I wrote it down. It was a coreless planet that was seas in the Middle West, so it had no minerals on it, but they have to revisit that because of how the planet actually looks.
That's an interesting. I'm surprised they didn't just design the planet to the lore, but
It could probably because of procedural generation, they couldn't do it that way.
I don't know.
Maybe they can in the future, but for now they couldn't.
Well, the thing is, though, like, because a lot of people think of coreless as it being like hollow, but that's not. A coreless world just
Yeah,
means
just solid.
it's just solid. It's like the moon. it just has consequences
It's not made of
for
cheese.
it has consequences for the atmosphere and magnetic field of a planet. But and yes, made of cheese. But I honestly I'm not overly concerned. Besides the pop-in, which they're working on, this whole video looks great.
Mm-hmm.
The water looks a lot better with the new shader.
And I like the coloring of it. It's all rust colored and everything. Like it has a high metallic content, or iron and oxygen, if it's possible.
Exactly. Like Mars. Giant
exactly.
giant rust bucket planet.
You know, this could be the prototype for Mars, in fact.
Very possibly, yes. That is an awesome shot from orbit, though. It really is. Like, just wow. I have a lot of respect for the people out there making planets.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So this is still V4 tech, right? Or they have moved on to V5?
Yeah, they're on V4 still. So I have a few videos this week from the community. So this first one is from 0A6 on Reddit. And do we have audio for this video?
Oh, it's a mining thing?
I think it should be working now.
Oh, let me turn up the audio on mining thing. Twitch screen.
I think it should be working now. So this video is to point out how good the audio is now for the rocks breaking apart on the for the mining, but you don't get the full audio effect unless you're actually out standing on the standing beside it. But it sounds great.
I can imagine how that would feel with the bass and subwoofer and everything going on.
Absolutely. The whole right from the beginning, the mining tech has had some pretty fantastic VFX, and it's nice to see that the sound is coming right along with it. I'm sure it's going to just continue to look and sound better and better as we go along.
Speaking of sound, I don't know if this is the segue you wanted, but they had Star Citizen Live yesterday. They had the audio team on.
They did. It was a good stream. I always have trouble with those ones though because there's nothing for me to show.
Say it again.
I always have trouble with those because there's nothing I can show about the audio ones.
Yeah, but the thing is, they seem like a good bunch of folks like you want to go hang out with or have a beer with and stuff like that. They all seem fun. So
No, absolutely, absolutely. This is a
and there's one guy who could give Brian Chambers a run for his money when it comes to hair.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing hair. He must have been working on that for a few years.
No, he said it was pandemic hair, so it's only.
I don't believe
been a couple
him.
months.
Yeah, but I think one of his buddies said that he was lying. It's pretty funny.
He's just jealous.
So this video is from a Reddit user Mipowski. And it's just a great shot of a ground battle between two ground vehicles. And just really shows off how far Star Citizen's come visually.
I'm liking how if he hit a rock, he doesn't shoot up into space now. That's
Yeah, that's very nice. Used to get some serious air off those little pebbles.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I thought we were all descended from Michael Jordan for a while there.
So our last one is just this very calm and great scene from. Oh, now my brain totally escapes my brain where this was from. Hurston, I believe.
Okay.
And this is from Reddit user Blood Money 11. Just one of the outposts with a little spinning windmill. And it like perfectly loops the video. It's great.
I was gonna say the sun isn't setting or rising or anything, or just that.
Yep, just
Okay.
and I think we'll leave it there for a while we answer some questions.
I
So
don't think we have questions.
we better have some freaking questions. We have an hour.
Can we go back to the Gladius real quick though? Not on the stream, but just talk about
No.
it for birthday.
Yes, of course we can.
We were talking about the weapon item rack.
Oh,
we
jeez,
covered, but they also talk about the dash makeover.
Yes,
Interacting
actually-
functionalities.
I actually have a
next
picture for that.
quarter. Okay.
All right. Oh, what the heck happened there? Okay, fun. All right, let's sort out that problem.
I didn't do it.
I think you did.
Did I
I'm
do
gonna
that?
blame you. All right. So
I
you
don't
guys,
to blame.
you guys can watch me do this live.
If it's too much trouble, don't worry about it. But I
No,
I
well, I
wanted to
want
bring
there.
it up.
You reminded me. There's a bunch of pictures I want to show anyway.
Hmm.
So, all right. Let's go. Yeah, here it is.
Looking it up. Oh, that's it. There it is. Okay, yeah, I see it now. Yeah, so that looked much better. The concept screen until UI not finalized. Okay, yeah, so that looked much better. I don't have a Gladius, so I can't really compare apple to orange, apple to apple. But yeah, it's coming along great, and it no longer looks like it's made from 2012. It looks more like something along the line of 2019 or 2020 even.
Oh yeah,
What do you
it,
think?
it looks so much better. I thought this was great. A great. I just hope that the final look looks as nice and clean as this.
Yeah, it depends on the ship you have too, but yeah.
It would be great to see all the new MFDs roll out for all the ships. Some of them are very antiquated.
Some of them, a lot of them. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're working on that, thankfully.
Oh, of course. All right.
Yeah, I just forgot to cover that when we haven't had it up before.
So we also got this lovely message in Banu, which I am trying to format correctly. Woo! Oh my god, I have to shrink this down way too much. Okay.
I
Yeah,
believe I said
it
ball
was-
week, going on week, mini bond.
yeah, of course. Didn't everyone
This
know
is the
that?
international greeting.
But yeah, it's basically a greeting message from the Banu in Banu, and yeah, this was for First Contact Day, which was what was that? This week, right? Or last week? It was last
Wednesday, I
week,
believe.
right before. Was it Wednesday?
I thought it was. I can look on. Let me look at the thing real quick.
It was recently. I'll put it that way.
First contact 3 days ago.
There you go.
That's when the yeah.
But yeah, this is pretty cool. It's great to see the Banu language actually like out there. There is as always, there is an effort among the community to translate this message.
And it has been translated as far as I can tell.
There are 3 different versions, and they all read quite differently.
Of course it does.
But yeah, this is really cool. I can't wait to see all of this writing in the game in verse. It's going to be something else. It's going to be cool to walk around a merchantman. You know.
I just noticed that my name is Fast Cart. That's fine. I just noticed it though.
That's quite the typo. It's quite the typo.
No, it could be worse. That's not the worst typo I've seen of my name.
Well,
I
here you
won't
go.
even say it on the stream.
What, fart cart?
That's one. Gray-headed gamer. When I first started going into his stream, that was one of the first names he called me.
Oh, that's funny. All right. MF NFDs. All right, the roadmap. We should talk about the roadmap. So there's a roadmap. So they made good progress this week towards 3.10.
And matter of fact, it's going to Eva Cotty.
Yeah. So the new Babbage shop editions have been completed. We have. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix some stuff on my OBS end here.
And the Grimhex improvements are complete.
Grimhex improvements are complete. The law system version 2 impoundment improvements are complete. The electron damage is complete.
They made a lot of improvements on the law system, 25% in one go.
Yep. The turret and gunnery stuff that they've been working on is done. The body dragging is finally coming. They've tried to get that in so many times. Ship HUD reworks complete. Height map improvements are complete. That's going to be really cool. Way more detail on the planetary surfaces. We'll make them look a lot better from orbit. And we'll just add detail to the terrain. They also made no additions or subtractions this week, but they did make some improvements on the or some progress on the refinery deck for that big deck we saw before.
That big deck, it was huge.
Yeah, it was girthy. And also on improved throw, which I'm eager to see, I guess.
Maybe that's for like throwing grenades or something.
I'm almost certain it is, yeah. Obviously, the thing a lot of people have noticed is that the 100 series is now on the roadmap. And the Mercury Star Runner is here, which is pretty cool. I love that ship. So it's going to be great to see that in the game as well.
I'm looking forward to the Mercury Star Crawler.
Are you?
Yeah, like a land vehicle. Goes along the land.
Speaking of nice ships, this was a pretty
what is that?
Great screenshot. This is the Aegis Eclipse.
Almost makes me want one.
And I just thought this was a beautiful screenshot. Obviously, stealth ship, and it just looked great. Almost looked like a real picture. Close. It's getting there.
Yeah. I mean, it had that SR-71 feel to it, but like more modern, or modernized, I guess.
And then, of course, we have our wonderful baby Xi'an up there.
Hi,
all right.
Rob.
So that is it for pictures this week. I'm gonna go back
That's
to our lovely spinning windmill. So we should probably talk a little bit about. I know we've been talking about this a lot lately, but it's because it's a topic of concern, or not concern, of note. Topic of note.
No.
Funding. So
Yes.
last Saturday we hit 300 million, and we're already at 302.
Wait. You said you get some of that 300 million? Share some with me.
Damn it! That was supposed to be a secret. No
I
comment.
want some. Oh.
No, I mean the campaign, overall is at 302 million now. Alien Week basically added about $2.5 million. Not bad.
Only 2.5.
Actually, sorry, that's actually not correct. It's more like $3. About $3 million.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
$3 million in a week. Doesn't even come close to touching the Invictus launch week, though. Holy balls.
Well, I mean, the thing is, they made almost as much money in 1 week as they did on the Idris and Javelin Day. That's something, right?
It's something. It's certainly something. Says something about Idris and Javelin Day. But yeah, as we've talked about before, funding this year continues to go spectacularly well for Star Citizen. And, up until Invictus launch week, there wasn't a lot this year. There wasn't really any new ships, and
Well, they had a G12, but that was the same week.
yeah, it was up
one day.
until Invictus launch week.
Yeah.
G12 was during Invictus there. But they went about 6 months without introducing any new ships. But they were still doing amazing for that whole time. And then they did Invictus launch week and the Alien week, and everything just exploded. And currently, they've made more in 2020 than every other year except for last year. And it's not even halfway through the year yet.
I mean, one of the things that I liked, not like, but I've noticed that on the day that they made the most money, it was the Big Interplanetary Day, where they had the two packs for the Krakens.
Oh yeah,
And they made,
Kraken packs?
The Kraken pack. They made almost 2.5 million in one day.
Yep.
And that's almost as much as they made in the entire Kickstarter for October 12 in 2012.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's crazy. One day, they made basically the amount they made in their Kickstarter. Just nuts.
Exactly.
So they're only
But it's too bad the Star Citizen is running out of money, right? They're not gonna last another 90 days.
I actually with this I've been thinking a lot that they may with the huge increase in the amount of money they have, they may staff up a fair amount this year. Wouldn't
You think
surprise
so?
wouldn't surprise me if they added another 100 people.
I mean, how many more do you think they need or want? Because I mean, I'm at the point like they've been saying like if you have 9 pregnant women, that doesn't mean the baby will come in 1 month as opposed to 9 months. So
No, that's true. But I'm not talking about like designers. I'm mostly talking about technical artists. So people to make animals, people to make planets, people to make people to make plants. Chris Roberts actually talked about this way back, like 4 or 5 years ago. And he said that when they get to a certain when you get to a certain point, when you're more or less settled on your planet tech, for example, you can hire like a huge number of environment artists and just make tons of planets. And I think that with the huge funding improvement, I don't know if it'll be exactly like that, but I could see them add a whole bunch of people just to make content faster that they now need, like animals and plants and planets.
Or they need to train them to do things in their way.
Of course.
So,
Yeah.
So they have a hiring free. Then they have to train them. That'll slow down development possibly until they reach a point where it's like memes again, where it becomes worthwhile to hire them in the first place.
Yeah, and for that reason, it might not be a spree, but more just a instead of because I think they've been around 500 employees for a little while now.
You might 550, but yeah.
Are they at 550 now? But it's been around that number for like a year and a half or so. So I could see them start to, noticeably increase that number. But yeah, we're currently sitting, I get over $40 million for 2020. It's currently sitting at just a shade over $41 million. Of course, last year was at 47 million. And the best year prior to last year was 38, I believe.
The year before.
Yeah. So they're on a tear. I honestly, it looks very much like they're going to easily eclipse, um, easily
Nations.
easily eclipse $70 million. Now it looks like maybe even more than that, for 2020.
Like I said,
So-
a small nation.
Yeah, totally.
No, one of the things is, did you see all the press coverage they got when they hit 300 million for PC Gamer?
I saw it
All
and
the
I
press.
completely ignored it because I knew it would make me angry.
No, some of them are okay. Some of them are okay, but you know,
Really?
there-
Okay.
there are always those few who like clickbait. It's clickbait time. Talk about Star Citizen. Let's get some clicks out of this. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, but yeah, I mean, if nothing else, it is basically an affirmation that financial problems won't be a thing, really.
So I
For-
have to look this up, but from the time it takes to them to make 100 million to 200 million was a specific period of time, and the time to make 200 million or 300 million was way less. Can you imagine how long it would take if the rate continues? And there's no reason why there's no reason to tell why it shouldn't or wouldn't. If the rate continues, can you imagine how long it'll take them to reach 400 million at this rate?
That is a very good question. It would certainly be next year.
Yeah, I think probably
But yeah.
December 21, December 2021.
Might not even take that long. If they're currently at an annualized rate of about $73 million. So, yeah, if that keeps up, they're looking at about a year and a half. So yeah, I guess that does take us right to December 2021. You're dead on. But that doesn't, you never know what's going to happen. It could accelerate further, which would be crazy, or it could slow down a bit back to like more what we've seen.
It's like, I can't imagine, like, okay, if you asked me a year ago, I would not imagine that we would be at where we are now, or where they are now, with regard to crowdfunding.
So now you're getting
even
some of that
though-
money. I see.
Right, yeah, right, I wish. No, that was the wishful thinking on my part. When I say we. Wishful thinking. I wish I had some
That's
of that money.
fair.
But
That's fair.
no, like if you asked me a year ago, I wouldn't imagine where we'd be now. So like a year and a half from now, like I mean, like before this week, I was thinking, where all this money coming from? We're getting new people. Or there's that much interest in the game now, and I guess I am. I guess that there are. So, I mean, if this continues, and the thing is, like, we can't discount, even though we have more competition now in regard to like Star Wars Squadron. I mean, for people who want to play more and more Space Simulator, so that'll even though they're like competition, it's also advancing the Space Simulator game genre in general. So people who play Star Wars will come over to play Star Citizen.
I don't really think I don't think anyone at CIG is worried about Star Wars Squadrons.
No, not worried. But
No.
Yeah.
No. What I
but
mean,
I'm just
what I
saying
mean
in
is,
general.
I think it's the exact opposite. I think that they're probably excited for it, and I think it will just because Star Wars Squadrons looks like it's going to come out before Squadron 42 by a fair margin. It'll probably, as you were saying, it'll probably only help them.
I did notice that they both had the name Squadron in their title.
Yes, there was also some sneaky person on YouTube who made a video called Star Wars Squadrons 42 Reasons to be Excited.
Yeah. Okay. Good one. Good one. No, but like, no, I'm not saying that competition. I'm not saying the competition that they're bad. I'm just saying competition as it'll raise everybody up as opposed
Yeah.
to.
No,
You know,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
I think, and not only that, it's pretty evident that Star Wars Squadrons is going to be very limited in scope. Not something you could ever say about this game. And because they're talking about us starting.
I can imagine, like, okay, we want to get a game out before CitizenCon this year, before the pandemic happened. So let's make a limited scope game, get it out, steal some of their thunder, or ride their coattails, or whatever you want to say, and then we can make some DLCs if we want, and then they had their CitizenCon, and then like 3 months later we can do it again during the anniversary sale. That's probably what they were thinking.
I'm sure there's definitely some thought over there in that direction. Yes. So Star Wars Squadrons does look interesting. It looks actually quite good. But yeah, it's a $40 game. From most new EA titles are significantly more money than that.
Yeah, exactly. But they're probably going to allow us to buy like our own TIE fighter or our own TIE bomber.
They said no microtransactions of any kind. I'm not sure if I believe them, but
yeah, right.
But I am excited for that game. I'm especially excited that it is in VR and designed for VR. I think it will be a great VR experience. And there are some great headsets coming out and that have come out, like the Index and the one we were talking about this week, the new HP one from HP that's insanely high resolution. Yeah. More VR, more good VR games, please. I can't personally.
Do VR.
No,
that just makes me too motion sick.
Oh, I'm sorry. That sucks.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I can't do VR.
Well, hopefully
for people who can.
Hopefully, in the future. Well, they're actively trying to fix that problem too. So, hopefully, in the future, something will work better for you. So we have no questions. I'm quite offended.
I didn't think so.
I'm quite offended by this. Hello, wonderful people in chat. There are 20 of you. Please ask us some questions. Any questions will do. But
since you have no questions, I can start rapping, right? I like big butts and I cannot lie. No, wait.
Now, are we talking ship butts?
Yes.
Like
the 100 series, the 100.
Yeah, there you go. I was thinking more like the what is it, the Genesis?
Starliner.
But
or
yeah,
Starlifter.
the Starliner.
Starlifter. I mean Starlifter. Well, I mean the Starliner can put a lot of butts in their seats.
That is true, and it also has a giant rear end, so bonus.
Calexis asked.
Oh dear. The sad question: is CitizenCon going to be a thing this year? Basically, the answer is no.
It's a virtual thing.
They are going to do a celebration of Star Citizen around the same time, but it will all be virtual. And they said specifically and like strongly that it is not an online CitizenCon. It's not going to be that involved. So my guess is that CitizenCon is basically just postponed. There'll be stuff of some kind. We'll hear more about that later. I suspect that they're kind of caught off guard because they were probably very deep into planning for CitizenCon. We'd heard lots of rumblings from the people that we know in the background.
Now, Molly from CIG, I met her at PAX East at the Bar Citizen. She was very excited for this year's CitizenCon, and she was like encouraging everyone. If you never been to a CitizenCon before, this is the year to go. But that was before everything hit the fan.
Yep, and so it'd be interesting to see what they do. I'm hoping we get some some more CitizenCon like content. I would love for those panels to be for them to just do the panels online.
Especially a Tony G and another
Yeah.
another Sean Tracy one.
Let Tony Z talk for 4 or 5 hours. I'd be good with that. You know he could.
I'm not arguing. I didn't debate. I was just laughing. I agree. Sean Tracy too. He's another one
Yeah,
who could go
totally.
for a while.
So
Or have them both together in one panel.
So here's my question for you, Fastcart. Do you think they're going to do a CitizenCon like next spring, or do you think they'll just put it off like a whole year until 2021, like October?
I'm guessing a whole year because I don't want to get too much into the current event. But yeah, I don't think it'll be safe in the spring. I think they'll probably just want to be safer and put it off a whole year and wait till October 2021.
That's my guess as
That's
well.
just my guess.
Yeah, that's my guess as well.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little while.
What I am thinking is that they may have a small studio audience for whatever they do decide to do in October. Like, you know how they have those
Maybe.
dinners and stuff like that?
I could see them doing that.
Because the thing is, I'm stuck with my airplane ticket. I can't really get rid of it. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to swing over.
It's not a. You can't
But
cancel
we'll
your
see.
ticket.
I can, but the thing is, the airline that I chose, if I cancel it, I get a credit, and the credit only lasts for 12 months from the period from the day that I bought it.
Well, that's
So
douchey.
Yeah, and plus the airline that I went with only have like 6 terminals in the U.S., so it's really limited.
Oh, that's brutal. Wow. So you're flying to LA in October. Got it.
Evidently.
you just
I'll put my
just
head
go
around, see-
fly there and fly home.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I asked the hotel people if I could extend change the date of the hotel so I can keep the same rate. They just canceled the reservations.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow.
I got really good prices on the hotel, so I can understand why they did that. But oh well.
Fair enough. Wow. Yeah, it's a weird world we're living in right now. Hopefully we'll get some interesting content in October. I'm insanely curious what they had planned. But yeah, you know.
Well, here's a question for you. What they have planned this year, how much of that do you think they'll show in the virtual thing that they do in October, and how much do you think they'll save for next year?
I'm very confused by what they've said. Because they went very far out of their way to say that it is not a virtual CitizenCon and not to expect it to be one. So they're obviously removing content, right? That's the general assumption there.
Nah, but how much?
I'm gonna say probably 50 to 70% will probably be taken out.
So they're gonna show. So 30% of what they have planned this year, they're gonna show in October.
I'm guessing that, yeah. They'll probably
That sounds
just
all right.
they'll
I
probably
can
just
live with
have
that.
like one presentation. It'll probably be a couple hours, and they'll show off like the highlights of what they're working on.
Now the other question is, how much of that will be Squadron 42 versus Star Citizen?
I really think this is going to be a Squadron year. So I think it might all be Squadron. That's just my guess. Because last year, not sure if anybody remembered, but last year Squadron wasn't mentioned at all at CitizenCon.
I do remember that.
In fact, it was really funny because CitizenCon last year, I was there and it was awesome. It was a great event, and I actually forgot or didn't notice that they didn't mention Squadron 42 until we were leaving. And I'm like, wait a second.
That's why people say that we hoodwink and like we are cult because we don't notice things until it's too late. But, it's just that the sense of community, the people that we're with, we're a whole lot of fun, and yeah, it's hard to explain to someone who's never been there.
Oh yeah, it was a great event, and they had so much great stuff there that I just didn't even notice. And then I'm like, wait a second, what about Squadron? As we're leaving, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if almost all of the content we see this year at whatever event they have is Squadron related.
I'm thinking, like you just said, they'll take up maybe 50 to 70% of it. I'm thinking a lot of it will just be Star Citizen related, and they'll hold that over for 2021.
Really?
That's my like the replace like the 70% that you say they're gonna take out. Most of that will be Squadron. They'll do some Squadron, but not as much as they planned, and they're gonna hold that for 2021. Hopefully, like when they release a release date in 2021 or after that.
Well, that leads to the natural question: when do you think Squadron's coming out? We've been asking this question for a better part of a decade.
Yeah, 2022, maybe, or holiday season 2021 at earlier.
It's an interesting question. I have a sinking suspicion they are very much, well, I not even sinking suspicion, they are very much hiding the current state of Squadron from us. Now, whether that's because it's farther behind than we think it is, or whether that's because it's more
Here's the
ahead
thing,
of where they
because
think
of
it is.
because of the pandemic, it really is a question of whether or not they're getting more work done or less work done. I'm thinking they're probably getting more work done because people can stay home, be more productive, and don't have to commute. Yeah,
It depends.
That's my
Like,
thinking.
it really depends, though. Like, game studios across the world are reporting very different rates of success here. Like, some of them are like, oh, it's fine, it works great. Other ones are like, we aren't doing very much. But I think that a lot of that has to do with how their remote work was set up beforehand and how well they were set up to do that. And of course, because Star Citizen is globally developed, I think that helped a lot.
And plus, because of the way that they do patching now, I forgot the terminology of it. They don't have to download as much from their servers
The Delta Patcher.
to Delta patching. Thank you. They don't have to download much from their servers anymore in order to work it much.
They're not downloading 60 gig builds several times a day.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah, one thing, it's very hard to know from the outside how well they're doing with their work, because a lot of people are saying they're working more and getting a lot more done, but it just all depends on how well the internal structure of the development process works. A lot of that's honestly about producers and how good your producers are at keeping their developers in line, you know?
Mm. And it's also how difficult to quantify more versus less when it comes to development like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you could say, we expected to be here, we expected to be here at a certain place at a certain time, but because of the pandemic, we're not there. Or you could say we expected to be here at a certain time, but we're actually further along because of the pandemic, because we're working from home. So, I mean, either way, yeah.
So I'm gonna touch on a question we had from last week that never got answered.
Okay.
Can we really say Star Citizen is in beta if they haven't added pets? This is not saying it's in. It's not saying. It's not saying that Star Citizen is in beta now. But when beta happens, is it really beta if there's no pets?
There's no pet?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, in order for it to be a beta, definitely you have to have pets in the game.
That is apparently the argument. Yes.
Oh well, they do have turtles.
And yeah, hey, there you go. Maybe we can get around it by just saying, "Hey, the turtles are in, so we're fine," right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I know, and it was a stretch goal, and they specifically said when they put the stretch goal in that it would be post-release, but I think that's when they thought the game was releasing a lot earlier too.
And
So
I think they thought the game was going to be released in 2016 by then.
probably. So we'll see. I'm certain the pets are coming, but when is a giant question mark.
On Soul Citizens, we recently had we recently showed the CitizenCon 2015 presentation on Soul Citizen.
How'd that go?
I mean, some of it looked janky, obviously, but compared to now. But one of the things that I've forgotten about was the Bishop Senate speech trailer was released that year, and I watched the whole trailer, saw the list of names, and then at the end of the trailer, it said 2016. And I completely forgot that it had a date in there like that.
It sure did. Came back to bite them in the ass. Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah.
But as far as pet goes, I can see why people are into them. I mean, the thing is, it's difficult to have a pet if you're going to be fighting a lot or traveling a lot in your spaceship, unless you have a freelancer or something like that. Even then, you're gonna have like a carrier for your pet or something like that, so they won't bounce around.
You could have a space whale pet. Could just follow you around from planet to planet.
No, that only works if you have a tree that like maybe they're attracted to your engine exhaust or something.
There you go.
Star Trek reference.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna divert a little bit from Star Citizen here.
Okay.
Are you a Cyberpunk person? Are you interested in it?
I'm interested in it. I mean, I'm not following it religiously or anything, but depending on how it goes on the launch, I may get it when it launches. Or I may wait for it to get cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, I'm really bad at FPS because I play one-handed.
Yep.
So, like, the only way I play FPS well or decently well is like when I'm a sniper. This is why I like being a sniper in Star Citizen. I was a sniper in Mass Effect, and that's how I did well. Well, other than that's not when I'm a biotic or engineer. Those are my first two. If you had magical powers or force-like powers in the game, that's what I'm drawn to first. Other than that, I'll be a sniper. So in Cyberpunk, I need more information before I can really decide what I'm going to do about that game.
It sounds like there's a lot of different gameplay approaches in that game. So yeah, I'm like it sounds like a lot of it can be done by hacking and stuff, which should be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But
I did like the trailer that they have in the gameplay that they've shown so far. So I'm hopeful, but I'm still waiting for more information.
So of course this week we heard the news that Cyberpunk has been delayed again. It was originally yeah, you look very surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I was originally an April release, I believe.
I thought so. Yeah, I was gonna say April.
And then it was pushed back to September, and then and then a few days ago it was pushed back to November. The interesting thing here, and what I wanted to talk about, was that they wrote a letter, and honestly, a large part of the reason why the community around Cyberpunk is always like super chill with their delays is they write them a letter and they explain what's going on.
It's amazing what communication can do.
Yeah. Also, a great company reputation also helps. CD Projekt Red has a spectacular reputation. So basically what they said was the game is done right now. It's there. It's done. They wanted to take an extra 2 months for what is essentially polish. Bug fixing, basically playing every nook and cranny of the game to make sure nothing's broken or missing. And I was just wondering what you were thinking about that, like taking an extra 2 months, like because they, it's coming out in September. They had 3 months, so they're taking an extra 2 months just to polish the game. And I was wondering what you thought about that.
My first couple of thoughts is that if they were to do, if Star Citizen were to do the same thing, or 2042 would do the same thing, the media would be all over them, like negatively. If 2042 to say had a release date and then delay it a couple of months, they would be nothing but trash talk from the media, in my opinion. But another thing is like what that saying is. A bad game released early, it's always going to be remembered bad, but a delayed game, what was it?
That's actually a good question. I'm gonna look it up.
It's basically better to release a game delayed than it is to release a bad game early. That's basically it. So I'm happy for them that they're taking that stance, and that's the stance that Chris Roberts and CIG have always been taking, except they get so much crap for it because they're doing things differently.
It was Shigeru Miyamoto. Oh my God, Shigeru Miyamoto. And he said,
Okay.
a delayed game is eventually good. A bad game is bad forever. Now, I'm awful with Japanese names, so I need to. Right, he's Mario and Legend of Zelda. Yeah, so he's a legend.
Okay. Okay.
And I honestly I agree with him, and I know that there's been some very very impressive efforts in the past few years to repair terrible launches, like No Man's Sky, which has come
that's one
very far from where it started.
And I was gonna say Final Fantasy 14. They had a whole reborn thing.
Yep. Yeah, they basically redid the whole game.
And now they're one of the best games out there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As far as popularity goes.
Some games that really suffered from this. Destiny. Destiny 2, Andromeda, Anthem is a very good example.
Anthem,
of a game that should have been delayed by about a year, probably. And then they might have been able to solve their problems. But from all reports, they're trying to fix Anthem, but it's sometimes people come back, sometimes they don't.
I was interested in Anthem. I was really gonna come about Anthem. No.
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 You are infinitely better off to
that,
make it right the first time.
Right. The other thing that I want to say is that 90% of the game it takes a lot of effort. But that last 10% is equal to the effort of the first 90%. So that's the other reason I think it's a good idea.
Yep.
I'm okay with them extending it. And the same thing if it would have happened to Squadron 42 or Star Citizen, I'd be okay with it then also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the whole thing about how CIG would get shit for delaying something by a few months if they had a release date, and that is true. I agree. I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. That comes back to what I mentioned before, which is company reputation. Mm-hmm. Now, among CIG, Star Citizen backers, CIG doesn't have a bad reputation in any way. For the most part. But in the general gaming community, Star Citizen is definitely viewed in many circles as like vaporware. So I think
to me, because vaporware, people who call it vaporware, I don't think they know the meaning of that word.
No, I know. I'm not saying I agree with them. I think that that's how it's perceived.
Yeah. Right.
And you can tell that from a lot of the media stuff that comes out, right?
Right. like all the coverage that they released about the $300 million
Yeah.
goal. Yeah.
But yeah, CD Projekt Red can get away with it, and not only that, they should get away with it. They have a spectacular reputation, and they earned it. You know, The Witcher 3 was. It's it's one of those games. It's going to be a classic. It's going to go down in history. And not only that, it wasn't just that the game was good. It was their support of it with all the free DLCs, the huge expansions they made, which were relatively inexpensive, and you know, and just their general outlook, like their thing this week, where they're like, "Hey, if you own an Xbox or a PlayStation version of The Witcher 3, will give you the PC copy for free so you can play it, because it's now years later, it's much better on PC than it is on the consoles, because there's modding and there's better graphics and so on and so forth. I don't know. I think that they earned their reputation, and they're using a little bit of that social license that they've gotten to, be like, we really, really need to nail this launch, so let's delay by 8 weeks.
Where opposed
I'm
to
fine with that.
Star Citizen and Squadron 42, it's a brand new company.
Yeah.
They
haven't released anything, to be
They
honest.
haven't released anything. So yeah, but they've been open development this whole time. So
That's why I say,
mean,
a lot of
that-
people who
that-
follow closely don't have a bad opinion of CIG, but a lot of the general opinion I see out there is definitely on the negative side. I think that will change.
I think people are just not used to hearing the game talk about from the get go and all through the development. Like they normally do what Star Wars Squadron would do. It's like, they're almost ready to release the game. They're like 6 months. Oh wait, no, 4 months ahead of their schedule, ahead of their release date. They start talking about it, get the hype train going, and then they release it. So.
Yep, and I honestly, especially, I mean, I've thought this all along, but now, especially with the additional funding that's coming in, CIG doesn't have a lot of pressure in terms of financial pressure or time pressure. I mean, time pressure in terms of holding themselves and the community holding them to, trying to get the damn game out. But they're not going to go bankrupt, They don't have to release it in order. So my hope is that they will keep Squadron 42 in the can until it is ready to go,
Oh, yeah. I think that's what they intend to do.
I actually personally, I know I'm probably, there probably aren't a ton of people who agree with me, but I actually would prefer that they cancel the beta and just keep it in the can. And just release it to live. But that's my personal opinion. Maybe go to Evocati.
Talking about Squadron 42 or Star Citizen?
Squadron 42.
Keeping it, no beta for Squadron 42?
Yeah, that's I'm not saying that's what they'll do. I think that's what they should do.
And say that again? Why again?
Oh, just because
you thinking?
because it's a single player game, and because it's a narrative experience, and I'm worried it'll get leaked really badly. And people who wanted to wait until it was done, However, I do think that one of the things they could do is what Larian is doing with Baldur's Gate 3. Larian is doing early access with Baldur's Gate 3, which is, of course, a big single-player narrative RPG, right? It's actually cooperative, sorry. It's not just single-player. It is cooperative as well. And no, you're right, Citizen Tipitarius. They've never said the beta would be public, but They did say it would go into beta, so I don't know what to think about that. But one of the things that,
Oh, they
that
said- I was under the impression, I forget from what they said, that people will have some access to it. Test
what
it
was
out
that?
and stuff like that.
You were
I
breaking
think
up a
some
little
people
bit.
have access. Oh, hold on. Let me try to fix RTX real quick. But I think some people can you hear me now.
Yep.
No, okay. I think some people will have access to the beta of Squadron 42, but it'll be a very small, limited group, and they'll all be NDA, out to Wazoo and everything. So yeah, I think it'll be okay, but it won't be a huge wide beta like they would normally do.
One of the things they could do is, so what Larian is doing with Baldur's Gate 3 is they are doing early access, but they're going to only release Chapter 1 of the game, which is huge. It's like 50 hours long, but it is only the first third, I think they said, third or fourth of the game. So that is also a way that Squadron could go, where they could only release part of it. And then they can use that to squash all the bugs, like all of the movement bugs and the flying bugs and AI bugs and all that good stuff. Do you think that's a way they would go, or do you think it would just be either no beta at all or just Evocati?
I'm thinking limited Evocati, like they're really really limited Evocati.
Like 1,000 players?
Said, how big do you think Evocati is currently?
They expanded it a little while ago. I think they're up to about 5,000 or 6,000 now.
I would think maybe 500, if that.
Okay. And sign them to have them sign like a crazy NDA.
Basically. Well, even then, I mean, they know who in Evocati they can trust and not trust. I believe at this point. So they get the most trustworthy people say, "Would you like?"
That's true. That's true.
The thing is, also it might be hard to find people who want to beta test it.
That's true.
You laugh. I'm being serious.
I don't want to beta test it.
I don't want to beta test it. Cause I want to really experience. So I'm thinking that might be an issue too.
That's the thing with like I'm really excited for Baldur's Gate 3. Absolutely stoked for that game. But I have no interest in playing early access.
Oh, and Collector's asking about 500. The reason why I say 500 is because they want to keep a lid on it. In order to keep a lid on the game. Because, the more people you have to beta, the more likely it is someone will leak it. Or stream it and not care about the NDA or whatever.
Do you think
that's why I say they should keep it small.
Do you think in a limited Evocati beta like that, they should still only put out like a third of the game? So that it can't all be leaked?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, no, I'm thinking whatever the game is going to be in the release form when it comes to us is what the beta testers should get.
Okay. Interesting. Well, it's all academic at this point. We're still waiting for. I mean, someone actually pointed out because they stopped updating the Squadron 42 roadmap because it wasn't properly reflecting where they were. But that roadmap is still up, and it still says that we're going to beta in 11 days or 10 days. I don't think that's happening. Yeah.
It could happen.
Anything could happen. But there's a previous. There was also a previous.
Have you seen how far the fire tech has come? They're really close now.
There's also a previous question about from Calexis. Do you think CIG will take something from the real world beer virus and add it to Star Citizen? It wouldn't surprise me at all. Actually, if there have been a few. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Maybe it won't be as focused as the coronavirus came back in 29 whatever.
Right,
but
right.
it might actually bring to mind that we should probably have these like plagues and pandemics and stuff in the universe as a possible
More so-
disaster.
More so than that, I would much rather than a pandemic or virus or epidemic or whatever in the game, I'd rather them put like a Tesla around Mars or in orbit.
They definitely need to do that. Absolutely. That'd be the
I would much rather
number
see
one
that.
Easter egg. Number one Easter egg. Calexis, no, I never believed the dates on the Squadron 42 roadmap. I've been skeptical about it for a long time. Somebody brought it up on Reddit, and I thought I should at least touch on the fact that no, we're not actually going into beta next week or a week and a half or whatever. There's no way in hell.
Oh, Reddit. You're so silly sometimes.
Yeah. To be fair to them, they were also saying their point wasn't, oh, it's going into beta. Their point was, oh, the roadmap is still really wrong. Which does need to be addressed at some point. Hopefully, it will be.
I mean, if you could utilize all the thought that Reddit generate and to use it to like salt the roads in the winter.
No ice anywhere. It'd be great.
No ice anywhere. You have
Yeah.
no problems in the winter whatsoever.
All right, guys. Well, I hope that you've all enjoyed our 2-player episode of Relay Station. We had a good time. I hope we had a good time. Did we have a good time, Fastcart?
I had a good time. Matter of fact, I think I had such a good time. We should take this show on the road and say like make it the Nakara Fast Card Road Show.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, absolutely. Shiver Bathory. I don't know who that is, but he just subscribed
some
for
guy
the
on the internet.
25th month in a row. All right.
One-handed.
Thank you very much, Shiver. We love you. Thank you for coming to say hi and give us a heart, because that's very nice.
Matter of fact, Shiver is doing a Vampire the Masquerade session later today, and like
Everyone go
hours?
watch Shiver. And the other shoutouts we need to do. We got is there a Captain's Table this week?
yep,
Awesome.
and that's in 30 minutes.
Captain's Table is going to be in 30 minutes over on the Astropub. Go check that
Matter
out.
of fact,
That's
give
an
me a moment.
awesome
I
show.
can tell you who's going to be on. Click. Today, 20th, you're going to have Gondor, Olaf, and Meyer.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Meyer's great. Definitely go watch that. And tomorrow, I think there's a show also of some interest. Am I correct?
Oh, yes, duh. I was thinking about the actual pub. I'm like, actual doing a show tomorrow? What show? What are you talking about? No, Soul Citizens. We're having a show 8 p.m. Eastern. We're talking about Alien Ship because we just had Alien Week, so we'll be covering Alien Ship in more detail.
Awesome. So everybody tune in for Captain's Table and Soul Citizens, and we'll see you.
Shivers.
And oh my God, my brain has stopped working.
See?
And
See?
and Shivers VTM this evening. Also, now that I'm remembering, we should have another games show on Tuesday evening. It is
And
9
I'll be
p.m.
on Miss
9
Hart. I'll be on Miss Hart's 80s show.
Awesome.
Plays the Rhythm.
when is
on
that?
Tuesday also. 80s show is Miss Hart's 80s show is basically about the show about the 80s music, and she let me have 20 minutes to 15 minutes of music for R&B. From
Oh,
the
perfect.
80s.
What time is that on Tuesday?
8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, so
Midnight UTC.
an hour after that, come and watch me and Jake and David at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to do the games show.
Is that the official title now?
No. We're still taking suggestions, but no one has given us a suggestion yet. So we're still waiting.
Call it the Jake the Car and David Rhodes show.
That really rolls off the tongue.
No. Jake, Eric, Nakara, Jen.
It's the Jen show.
He's gone.
Oh my god, that's great. Also, I should have SpaceX is doing another launch on oh shit. During the games show on Tuesday. I think it might be just before. I will update in the Space Race channel on Relay and let you know whether I'll be covering it or not. But there is another launch on Tuesday for SpaceX. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.